Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
What is up, Mad Mob? I'm back again with another quick episode. We're rolling them out. We're back. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
Doing great. Thursday's tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Week 4 starting. Or is it week 5? It's week 4. Week 5. It's week 5.
Week 5.
Week 5, dude.
Week 5. Good Lord. We're going to do a quick run through of the Thursday game. And I think we're in London this week, right? We got a London
We are
game.
Jets Vikings.
Across the pond.
Jets Vikings playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tottenham Hotspurs. So we're going to go over the Thursday game, the London game, and all the 1 o'clock games for our Eastern time zone people. Our sit starts. We're not going to waste too much time on kind of the auto guys that everybody's going to be plugging anyways. We're going to try and focus more on the question marks of who we should start. I think we're going to Goni, what do you think, man? You want to play around with some money lines?
We can do that. We can throw out what we like. I know Begley's always looking for the rigged games, so if we can, help our viewership win a little bit of money, why not?
And that's kind of how we are, because we're big. Not only do we love fantasy, we're big gamblers here, big degenerates. Love to sports bet, love to go to the casino. So it's definitely, this is something that we've always wanted to kind of work in. And let us know. We could obviously go through all the week preview matchups in one episode, but we decided to break it up into 2 episodes so we could talk a little bit of gambles. And if you all like it, let us know. Comment on our Facebook page, shoot us an email, do whatever. And maybe we'll separate episodes, and we'll do one episode with like a full week preview, and then another episode about the gambles, who we like and all that. So just let us know. Let's start it off with the Thursday game. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Who do y'all like?
Betting wise, I like Tampa. Always give me the points in divisional game. 85% of the public money's on Tampa.
But that's not a good thing, though, right?
Yeah, I thought you were fading the public, man.
I do fade the public, but 1.5 though. Why? Why are they getting plus 1.5? They're the better team.
I feel like the over under is kind of sketchy too at 43.5. You would think it'd be easily over that, right?
You would think so. You know what surprises me? I think both these teams very good defensively.
Yeah, can be for sure.
Yeah, I feel like.
My bad.
Oh, I mean,
cut you
NFC
off.
South.
Just cut you off at the knees. Go ahead, man.
I mean,
Cut you off real good.
As an
Go
NFC
ahead,
South,
man.
are these games low scoring generally? You've watched more of these than anybody else.
I don't know, man. Sometimes the Bucs look really good, and then if you could delete the Broncos game, I would say we're the best team in the NFL, bar none, and we'll score 1 million points. So it's hard to kind of say. I like our offense, though. Baker's playing really good ball. I think he's second in the NFL in touchdowns behind Sam Darnold. Mike Evans playing great. Chris Godwin, top fantasy pick this year. So everything in my bones says take the over on this, but I don't know. But let's shift to Goni. You're starting your Bijans. You're starting your Godwins, Evans. How do you feel about? First, I'll just ask you how you feel about Bucky Irvin or Rachaad White. Starting either of them, none of them, one of them.
Personally, if I had a better option than Rachaad White, you drafted Rachaad White. Don't really love it at this point. I would try and find a better option if you have one. I would start Bucky Irving because, the draft capital wasn't nearly as high as a Rachaad White. So if you can plug and play Bucky Irving as a flex, I would definitely do so. He's getting opportunities. He's been efficient. He's been very good. Yeah, I don't know. I like him in this matchup. If you need him in a pinch, I like the receiving. For the receiving, honestly, let me just backtrack a little bit. I think the Falcons do win this game, personally. Just at home, I think the Falcons are starting to click a little bit. I think this is going to be the best game thus far in the season for Drake London. We've seen that the Bucs have been susceptible to the passing game. So obviously you're going to fire up your Drake Londons. As I mentioned, one of my favorite waiver pickups of the week, Darnell Mooney. If you need him in a flex spot, I'd be willing to start him. I'm personally starting him this week in our cap league. He's going to get a couple deep shots like he always does. And again, susceptible passing defense from the Bucs.
Beggs, are you firing up Kyle Pitts or are you retiring him?
No, both teams are very good against the tight end. I mean, they might get a touchdown. I'll have to eat my words. But Kyle Pitts and Kate Otten are not starting. I like to offer a doink. I'll take Tyler Algier. You all could take Bucky Irving. Would you? Can I get any takers?
Me, absolutely.
I'll double down if you'll allow it, but if not, it's all Wayne's.
I'll double down.
All right. We'll
Tampa,
Doink, lock it in.
Tampa, surprisingly, much worse against the run than the pass this year so far.
Well,
Algier.
Vita Vea has been on and off the field.
That's a big difference. He's a
Huge
dog.
difference. It's a 350-pound difference.
Was that a double doink just then?
It was. Welcome to the show. If you're new listeners, the doink is a big deal.
Wow.
The doink is pride bets that turn into steak dinners. It's a good time. We'll do doink review episodes and all that stuff. Catch all up. It's a good time. All right, I think we covered that on there. Let's move on to London. We got the undefeated Sam Darnold-led Vikings going against the very confusing Jets. Firing up Aaron Jones, firing up Jetta. Obviously, we're going to fire up Breece Hall, even though he was a bust last week. Are we still rolling with? Garrett Wilson's still a sit and stay kind of guy, right?
I'm playing.
He's got to be, right?
Well, he's been crying in the media. You know what happens when you cry? You get the ball.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil, gets the grease. What's one of those? Gets something.
Yeah. You know, Minnesota's given up the third most fantasy points to wide receivers in fantasy. Alan Lazard, I think he's a flex play and a damn good one.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too. Alan Lazard has been getting sneaky good targets.
Garrett Wilson probably gets 10 plus targets this game, coming off the media gripes, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, boys. I have just a quick question for you as well, because I got it from one of our listeners. Just in regards, generally you're always going to play your studs in fantasy. Is there ever a time where, say in this matchup, it's Jetta, but whenever you're facing an elite cornerback like Sauce Gardner, do you ever consider sitting a stud wide receiver?
Never.
This week it would be Jetta. No, never.
Never.
Play your talent.
When you say your stud receivers, what's the line?
Well, yeah. All right. So that's kind of something that I was going to respond with as well. And so I had mentioned to the listener that it also depends on your depth, because they had asked me if I ever sat a Jetta or a CD because they were facing someone like Sauce. And I was like, I personally have CD in a league. Never sat him ever. Never would consider sitting him. Never would consider sitting Jetta. But I do have Tyreek in a league, and I'm sitting him this week. But it's because, I know, apples to apples, or, apples to oranges, but it's also because I have depth. You know who I'm sitting him for? I'm sitting him for DJ Moore. So it's kind of easier to do that when you have, depth at the position for such a guy. But the base question was, would you ever sit your studs going up against elite talent at the cornerback spot?
I really don't. And again, there's a line, who do you consider a stud and who don't you consider a stud? But like you said, your roster construction is super important whenever you're doing that. Like one of my leagues before injuries decimated me already. I had Devonta Smith, Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams. Who was the other guy I had? I had somebody really good. I don't even remember who it was now. So yeah, I mean, I could swap out those guys and be okay. But yeah, plus for your situation specifically, you've got a quarterback issue there as well. So it's a little bit easier. But when I'm thinking about, if I have a guy going, I don't care if he's across from Jair Alexander, I'm pretty much going to play him. And you never really know, because you have some corners that are considered good, like Trayvon Diggs, who just plays one side of the field. I mean, like 90% of his snap share is on one side of the field. So you have to take that in consideration too. Are you really going to sit a stud, and he might not even be across from the number one corner most of the game? But that's a good question. I personally, I'll play my talent.
Yeah, same. I really like Tyler Conklin in this game too, by the way. I like all the Jets pass catchers. Last thing I'll say, this is my lock of the week in betting. I love the Jets. 85% of the tickets on the Vikings, 82% of the money on the Jets. Give me the Jets.
Do you fire up your Braylon Allens this week in a flex spot?
No,
not yet.
Okay.
What are the Jets? Plus 2.5?
plus 2.5.
You like the Jets over under at 40.5?
Over under, I'm not sure about, but I love the spread.
Donnie, you got an opinion on the over under?
I'll take the under.
Yep. Jets haven't figured it out offensively, really. Next game we're covering, Panthers-Bears at Soldier Field. The Andy Dalton-led Panthers are just totally different. Caleb Williams not impressing anybody. Boys, Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Johnson, are they easy start options this week?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I like Deontay. I don't like Chuba this week. The Bears defense has been surprisingly good this year. I think the under is hit in the majority of their games thus far. They're playing well. They're playing very well. They're actually the reason why, Caleb Williams got his first win. It's kind of one of them like prove it things to me for Chuba, more or less. We've seen what he is throughout his career. I know that, Andy Dalton has kind of revived the offense more or less, but I like the Bears defense. I like the Bears to win this game outright personally. I think DeAndre Swift shows up for another good game. I like Caleb Williams to have a good game through the air as well. The Panthers defense is trash. So Andy Dalton's going to have to put in some work to keep him in this one, I think. That's just where I'm at with it, though.
Beggs, you mentioned Xavier Legette on the waiver wire show. Are you starting him?
No, but I am starting Chuba. I would start Chuba in my RB2 spot. Chicago is just kind of average against the run in terms of fantasy production. I like Chuba a lot. Going, if you think about it, he's a bell cow. I mean, he's what you want in fantasy right now. He's getting all the work in Carolina. A lot of opportunity there. The guy that I'm on the fence on, Rome Odunze. Is he a deep flex play?
I like him this week. I like all the Bears this week.
Yeah, I mean, the guy you have to start him is DeAndre Swift, but you're pissing down your leg as soon as you hit submit, right?
I have to start him this week, and yes, I am.
You have to. Wayne, are you going to Odunze and Swift?
I'm not sold on Odunze, and it's not even really Odunze. It's just Caleb Williams looks like trash, and it's not his fault. I mean, he spent the first month of the season on his back most of the game, so I'm not calling Caleb Williams a bust by any means. He's been getting waxed. I gotta see that off, which nobody goes into since the Panthers lost Spider-Man to the Giants in free agency. Their defensive line hasn't been scary, so maybe this is a game that Caleb Williams can show what he's capable of with some time. So this is kind of one of those things where I could really eat crow on this by not taking Odunze, and I won't argue the fact that you should start or sit him. I'm with Goni in that I love DJ Moore this week. I just don't know how much there's going to be to go around because we haven't seen Caleb Williams upright for most of a game yet.
DJ Moore revenge game.
DJ Moore revenge game. Fire him up, obviously.
Any Any comments on the Bears -4 over under at 41.5?
Not for me. I'm staying away.
I'd probably stay away. I'd like the Bears money line. I want to take the under, but I don't. I'd stay away.
Yep, this is a sketchy game. All right, next we have the nice divisional game, Bengals-Ravens. It's in Cincinnati. Bengals puttering at the beginning of this year. Ravens 2-2, but honestly a lot better than their record says, in my opinion. Anybody we're kind of fading this week? I mean, how do we feel about Zach Moss?
I don't like Zach Moss, but Jeff, I feel like you got to play him. I think I would prefer Chase Brown, personally.
That's what I was going to ask. Which one outperforms the other this week? Is it Chase Brown, in your opinion?
Yeah, but I mean, it's a true 50-50. That's what the numbers say. I just think Chase Brown has more juice. He's the long-term play, right? Like for the franchise.
Chase Brown or Chuba Hubbard?
Chuba Hubbard.
Gone?
Oh, Doink?
Yeah,
Gone, you
no.
wouldn't start. You said you wouldn't start Chuba Hubbard. So if you say you're not starting Chuba Hubbard over any of them, then you're not starting any Bengals running back.
Yeah, no, I mean, not if I can help it, honestly. I have to play Zach Moss in a league. We have to play Zach Moss in a league this week, Wayne, and I don't love it. I'm with Beggs. I don't like any Bengals running back this week. If you can help it. If you have another option somewhere, I'd take that.
Okay. Beggs, did you want to throw out a Doink?
I don't think he's going to be game for it. He's too wishy-washy. One thing I will say, Mark Andrews, he's on your pine this week, right?
Yeah, that's probably Isaiah Likely too, honestly. Until you see something out of either of them, you don't really want to keep taking ones and zeros, do you? Like, that's just a bad situation.
He looks shook, man. He looks shook. You know, You never see him drop any balls, and he's dropped several this year. He doesn't look like he's football ready this year, just to be honest.
I agree.
And they thanked Isaiah Likely for his service after game one. The Ravens did, and now you'll just be out here getting cardio, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I was so happy because in one of our dynasty leagues, I have Zach Ertz aging out, and I had Isaiah Likely on my bench, and I thought, oh, this is beautiful, just a seamless switch from a good tight end to another good tight end. And now it seems like I'm left with no good tight ends.
Beggs, give me a projection on Zay Flowers this week, man. He's been a lot of up and down. I traded for him personally in one of my dynasty leagues, and I was very happy for what I gave up. I gave up Jerome Ford straight up for him after week 1 or week 2. And, we've gotten ups and downs. Last week he only had 1 reception for 10 yards. He was kind of phased out of the game plan, so, it's not really anything of his doing, but give me a projection on him this week.
I like Zay Flowers to get 15 this week. I mean, here's the thing, right? The Ravens haven't had to throw it. They can just run the ball, and it's working. Divisional game, I think since he loads the box, somebody's going to eventually, right? Bounce back game for Zay.
Who wins this game?
Ravens.
I don't know who wins it, but since he covers the spread, plus 2.5.
I'd take the Ravens and a pick 'em. Over under at 48.5. Over?
Not touching.
Under.
Okay, we're split. Typically when that happens, you just don't touch it. Begley, Justice Hill will play in deep flex scenarios?
Justice Hill is in my lineup this week. Okay. Absolutely.
I like it as well. I expect Joe Burrow to be able to throw on this Ravens defense. They're a little susceptible to the pass. I think Jamar Chase obviously has a great game, the second in a row. T. Higgins, we'll probably see him get some work in there as well. So, yeah, I could see Justice Hill being a factor this week.
Okay. Next up, we got Dolphins Patriots. Kind of yucky, kind of a nasty game.
Under, no matter what, it could be 15.5. Bet the under.
It is a hilarious 36.5.
Yep.
I'm going over. Fade the public. I'm going over.
I'm a fan. Take the under.
Fade the public.
Patriots just lost their starting center as well. This is the push back Drake May campaign going on out here in these streets. I've been wanting to start Drake May just to get him some reps, and we're just having less and less of a reason to, more or less. You would think more and more with the more losses we accrue, but like, I don't want to just throw him behind a patchwork line and be like, all right, feed you to the wolves, man. So Jacoby Brissett, we're trotting him back out there. I like the under. I hate just about every player in this game. Like I said, I'm sitting Tyreek Hill. Is Tyler Huntley getting the start again? Is this? I think he is.
Yep.
Yeah. Man was atrocious.
Awful.
I mean, he didn't really do much of anything last week. The Patriots have a pretty good defense and a mediocre offense at best. So, yeah, I don't really like anyone. Is there a single player? Who's the best player one of you guys would start this week for either team?
It's got to be Achane.
Wayne?
Joey Sly.
Hunter Henry is probably mine if you're looking for a tight end. Joey Sly, that was a good one. Patriots defense, lock him in. The DST on the waivers.
I'll stick with my guns and say I'm starting Tyreek regardless. Ramondre, I'm not starting him if I have an option. Achane, it depends who I have. I wouldn't necessarily be upset to have him starting, but not loving it. Staring at
temper the expectations. Yeah.
What? Wayne, do you smell that?
What do I smell, man?
Smell a doink in the air. Going, I'll take the over.
You'll take the over?
Take the over.
Let's fire it up. Hey, you know this also bodes well for my Trayvon Diggs versus Christian Gonzalez doink bet that we have this year, right? You've had a bunch of cupcakes. I got Tyreek this week and Tyler Huntley at quarterback. Now you know what it feels like to face a terrible quarterback.
Danny Dimes is way better than Tyler Huntley.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, that's an off-air doink, by the way. Goni says Gonzalez is a better corner than Trayvon Diggs is, and I believe it's just based solely off of yards given up while they were in coverage.
That's the metric we're going off of.
And I'm losing.
I made a preseason money bet with Begley that is the easiest money I've ever made in my life. There's a rule of thumb that if somebody ever allows you to have the field, I don't care what it is, you take the field. I took advantage of my man's Cowboy fanhood. He said the Cowboys are going to have the best defense, and all I said was, bet they don't. And that was enough. So, based on yardage given up, what was it, yardage or points? Doesn't matter.
Yardage.
Yardage?
Doesn't matter.
Based on
right.
yardage given up, if the Cowboys are second or worst, I get paid.
What's the over-under for this game? 36
and a half.
Okay. Yep, it's locked in there, Biggs.
We've got a word for that. That's called hot, passionate doinks, and I'm always on the wrong end of them.
Hey, I love it's one beautiful thing about Cowboys fans.
Go Christian Gonzalez.
Next game, we have Browns against Commanders. Washington -3. Over under set at 43.5. How do we feel? Dude, the Commanders were one of those teams we thought were going to be trash coming into this year. Week 1, they played the Bucs, got absolutely hobble squashed, and then have done nothing but win big since. Are we firing up everybody on that Commanders offense?
I say temper the expectation. I mean, you're playing McLaurin, you're starting Brian Robinson, but I say temper the expectations a bit.
Okay.
I think the Browns defense is pretty good. The guy that I have my eyes on as a play for me this week is Jerry Jeudy.
I like that.
And Njoku's out.
I like that. Yeah, there's not a whole lot, that I really like in this game as well. I would take the Browns personally, money line, to win this game. And I'm with Beggs. Jerry Jeudy, outside of Terry McLaurin, outside of the obvious guys that you're going to start, Jerry Jeudy is a guy I would throw on the flex.
Yeah, I don't. There's really no hot take starts in this one, aside from Jerry Jeudy getting thrown into a flex. But yeah, really nothing spicy happening in this one. Next game we have Colts Jaguars, the winless Jags, at home. Jackson's actually -3, so it's essentially a pick 'em. Over under set at 46.5. Joe Flacco under center again, right?
I don't know. AR was a limited participant at practice Wednesday.
You're not happy about that if you're a Colts fan, right?
I don't see why not. You're gonna go ahead and play your quarterback of the future, right? Your hopeful quarterback of the future.
If AR is your quarterback of the future, you're very angry, right?
You're less angry than a Titans fan right now.
Debatable.
It's true.
Debatable.
Nah.
Well, is it though?
One has a better record than the other.
It's debatable. Well, I mean, there's other factors.
What about
Well-
interceptions?
What about turnovers? How about Will Levis' turnovers?
What about his completion percentage?
To the other team?
What about his yards?
How about his fantasy points? What we're talking about here on the show, fantasy points.
If you couldn't tell people, it's been a hot debate. I don't know why it's been a hot debate because we're both on record saying Anthony Richardson and Will Levis suck, but we're just trying to determine which one sucks the most. And I'm dying on the hill that Anthony Richardson sucks the most.
This was literally ever since they both came out of the draft. I remember Wayne and I were watching the draft, and this is where it was born, basically. We were asking each other who you'd rather have in the draft. I said AR because of his legs, and Wayne and Beggs, both big SEC guys, UK guys. Got to see him, when AR played at Florida. Hated him. Wayne hated him, said he sucks. That's fine, but rushing is a cheat code in fantasy, and it has proven as such yet again in the AR versus Will Levis debate.
Yep.
Anyways, who do y'all like in this one, Jacksonville or Colts?
In terms of the spread, I'm staying away, but I really like the under in this game, especially with Jonathan Taylor being hobbled. I think that's a sneaky play. I mean, Jacksonville's defense is atrocious. A lot of the bets are going on the over. Give me the under.
Supposed to be a little moist, that game as well.
Yeah, my play of the week in this game, Brenton Strange. The Colts give up the second most fantasy points to tight ends of anybody in the league. So if you're streaming, I like Strange.
Man, I can't wait for Evan Ingram to come back. That man has hit my bench just about every week of the fantasy season. Don't love it. Fire up your Trey Sermons if you need to. I personally have to this week. He more than likely will be. They're mulling over whether or not Jonathan Taylor is going to have to go to the IR. I think they're kind of just still giving it more time to base a decision to see exactly what his time frame is. I'd fire him up. I'd take the under as well for this game. I'd stay away from the money line or anything like that, but if I had to pick one, I'd say Jacksonville on the basis that they're 0-4. They got to win one, right? It's a divisional game. It's probably going to be a dogfight. They're at home. This is, kind of a good spot for them to finally get that 0 out of the win column. So I would take them there. How you guys feeling about Travis Etienne? Major disappointment thus far.
It's hard, man. Like it's when the offense isn't rolling, it hurts everybody. And it's just, I mean, somehow Brian Thomas has entered into the range of getting off of practice squads and filtering into starting lineups. But outside of that, man, this Jaguars offense has been less than stellar.
Do you flex Thomas this week?
Yes.
I agree. Target
Thomas.
share has gone up.
Thomas or Pittman?
Thomas.
Give me Brian Thomas as well. Smirk. Fire it off, bro.
Wayne, what's that in the air?
Hopefully it's a doink.
No, it's not. It's nothing. Sorry. I would go with Brian Thomas as well.
It was a bird or a plane this time, huh?
Yeah, if you're in a dynasty and you drafted Brian Thomas and he's sitting on your taxi squad, then good on you. You must have some decent depth because I've drafted him in 2 leagues now and we've had to pull him off and slot him into the lineup. So, I mean, it's a good thing. It means you hit. It's a bad thing because you don't get to take advantage of the practice squad as much. Okay, cool. Last game, 1 o'clock. Bills Texans. Looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be a good one. It's in Houston. Firing up our normals. What do we feel about all all the receivers for Houston. Nico Collins, just one of those names that makes you feel weird whenever you say the best, but he's been the best. Obviously, firing him up. What is the situation with the rest of the Texans receivers? Who are you firing up? Who are you sitting?
Is Tank Dell is a questionable designation. If he doesn't play, you're playing Diggs. Revenge game. I'm playing Diggs regardless, actually.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think you play Diggs for the revenge game, period. I expect this one to be big time offense. I would take the over on this one. I'm with you. Fire up your Stephon Diggs for sure. Which, I mean, I don't really think anyone's sitting him, right? He's not a guy that's been really sitting on benches or anything like that.
Yeah.
Tank Dell, like you said, questionable. So, I mean, we'll kind of see. Cam Akers. You firing up Cam Akers this week?
I
wanna
don't think so.
I want a piece of the Houston backfield, but I hate Cam Akers.
I don't think so. And this is going to be such a shootout that I'm not sure that they're really going to give him the volume that he needs to be a viable fantasy option this week.
I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind him in the flex if you're in a pinch, personally.
It's a good matchup. He just doesn't look like he's got any juice, man. That's my problem. Shakir, flex play, lock.
I like Khalil Shakir. One guy, like, all right. I feel like Keon Coleman should have progressed a little further thus far, right? He's been a kind of a disappointment. I know he's a rookie, but I feel like, he should be more involved. Yeah, he'll get his time. And one of the major factors for Buffalo winning is, like, everyone's kind of getting touches. Everyone's getting receptions. Stephon Diggs isn't there, yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline, superstar quarterback. Hey, man, hit me 57 times a game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think he's due. I wouldn't be surprised if Keon Coleman, if this is a game for him to kind of break out. But yeah, that's kind of a dart throw for me. Is where it's going to be. Dalton Kincaid. How are we feeling about Dalton Kincaid this week?
Starting him.
I think you have to.
This is one of those rare games where you can just pull up to the fantasy buffet and load up your plate, go sit down and enjoy the game.
You know the guy I don't love this week, but you have to play him. I don't know why I'm bringing it up. But I don't love James Cook this week. I think he's just kind of mid. I like the under, by the way. 90% of the money's on the over. Vegas will get greedy.
They'll make the call.
They'll make the call. The Buffalo Wild Wings call.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yep, I like it. That's it. That's it for the 1:00 games. Let us know again. We're going to be back tomorrow. What are we doing tomorrow or Saturday?
Tomorrow.
We'll be back tomorrow with the rest of the games, the rest of the money lines. We're degenerates. We'd love to dive more into gambles and get more into the prop bet side of things. Let us know. We'll fly through the game previews again, and then throw out another episode where we throw out some props we like and stuff like that. Hit us up on Facebook.
But before we go, I have one more question.
What's up?
Yoshi Voss or Darnell Mooney this week?
Darnell Mooney, baby. I'll put a doink on that.
Wayne?
Who is it? Who'd you say?
Yoshi Voss. Bingle.
Single wide receiver. Filling in for T. Higgins while he was gone. Against the Ravens or Darnell Mooney?
Nah.
What?
You mean
It's
what?
it's a pick. Just pick one.
He asked if I wanted. He asked if
Nah, I'm
the
out
man
on
asked if
both.
I wanted a doink. Let me answer one question at a time, dude.
He said or.
Yeah, I said or. Just
Yeah.
who are you taking?
Nah.
Yeah, that's my answer, dude. Nah, neither of them.
was a
Darnell
hot-
Mooney, get off of Darnell Mooney, dude.
Wayne, doink it up, man. Don't be afraid. I haven't rolled the dice.
What am I
He said-
doinking?
You don't want Yoshi Voss?
No.
You want it, Beggs? What's that in the sky? What's that in them there mountains?
I'll take Yoshi Voss. Give me the doink.
Let's
Give
go.
it- Give it to me. First to 10 wins. Let's do it. You know what?
If neither make it there?
First to 7.
Mooney will have about an 8.8er, and he'll win.
Yoshivas will get the touchdown. That'll be the deciding factor. Bengals win. You know what, Gone? This reminds me as you're typing that Doink and Wayne. I know we got to close the show. We're over, but last year you took significantly less doinks than the rest of us. Can't play scared, man. Scared money doesn't make any money.
I'm in every single doink right now, bro.
Yoshivas.
Okay.
He was scared, and then when it got to the final count, he was like, "Oh, well, that's just because you won't place more doinks." Crybaby.
Yeah. Whatever, man. Still didn't come in last.
Man, just stop building your house on sand. Be about it. If you're gonna talk about it, be about it.
Hey, man.
If you're gonna be about it, doink about it.
Whatever, man. Wrap it up.
Golly, man, it's so annoying when you tell me to do stuff. Because we need to wrap it up, but because you told me to wrap it up, I feel like I want to just go ahead and cover the 4 o'clock games. God, you got a stupid face, dude.
Wrap it up, dude.
Such a punchable face.
Just wrap it up, man.
Well, we'll see y'all tomorrow with the 4 o'clock games.